Hi, my name is Andersson Perry, and I'm an Ayesha Bulchandani Intern. This talk is part of a Closer Look series presented to you by Education at the Frick Collection. Today we will be diving into two cityscape view paintings, also known as vedute in the Frick Collection. Both were painted circa 1770 by Francesco Guardi, an 18th century Venetian painter best known for his depictions of life within Venice's urban center, including life on the canals. We will look at both Regatta in Venice and View of the Cannaregio Canal in Venice. These vedute pictures were created for one of Guardi's many international clients as a snapshot of the city they had visited to take home as a souvenir. Many of Guardi's patrons from Britain and Northern Europe were travelers on the Grand Tour, a journey with various stops in Italy, including Venice, taken by young aristocratic men to further their cultural education. It is also no wonder that 18th century British ambassador to Venice, John Strange, the original owner of these two vedute, would have been intrigued by Guardi's paintings because of their inclusion of movement, human interactions, and mysterious identities. Sometimes embellished, imagined, and painted in his studio, based on prints and engravings of earlier vedute painters such as Canaletto, Guardi's unique depictions provide view paintings with a narrative. This emphasizes the daily lives of citizens and their relationship to the city, as opposed to solely glorifying the architectural beauty of Venice. These two views emphasize the importance of movement, man, and mystery. Let us look closely. In Regatta, Guardi uses line and one-point perspective to give the viewer a sense of the speed and space involved in a boat race. Residential palaces lining the canal, called palazzi, slowly recede, converging at the Rialto Bridge, suggesting that the boats are racing to a finishing line there. A breeze guides the blue balcony awnings in that same direction. Sunlight reflects on the sides of the palazzi, leaving most facades in shadow, further guiding the viewer's eye. In Venice, regattas were boat races, organized around special occasions, including the arrival of an ambassador. Momentarily, we will take a look at one such dramatic arrival of the French ambassador in the view of the Cannaregio Canal. Let us view the men on the blue, yellow, and pink boats called bisone, whose job it was to maintain order and ensure circulation. The fast brushstrokes give a sense of quickness to the men's efforts. The detail is minute but not entirely realistic, as if each figure is based off of a rough drawing or a quick sketch. Guardi drew many ink sketches as prep for his painted figures. One art historian remarked that Guardi's figures become simply spots of color, a quick scribble of a pen, or a black dot drawn with a flickering mark. The movement of the brush complements the movement of the boats. There is an air of urgency. People pointing, many rowing hastily towards their goal. Look how similar this movement is to Cannaregio Canal. The dark ebony color of the gondolas glide through the oily blues and greens of the polluted water, contributing to the seamless nature with which the gondoliers steer the vessels, like black swans, artificial waterbirds propelled with the strength and sweat of gondolier labor. Black crocodiles with their symbolic ferro da prora on the snout, like shiny metallic teeth reflecting surreptitiously on the water surface. We could also address the identity of Guardi's mysteriously anonymous characters. Guardi shows a coexistence between different classes of Venetians, moving around and in the same vicinity as one another, from patricians to cittadini to a laboring class. Even within the regatta's boats, character's class is defined. Whereas the men dressed in costume are the actual rowers, two wigged men in coats appear to be directing the boat, like coxswain. Are they the owners of these boats, their servants obligated to plow ahead? Drawing your attention from the boats to the crowds congregating to view the regatta from balconies and along the canal, Guardi uses the smallest points of color, applying hundreds of pinprick-like dots to illustrate human heads and bodies. Are all social classes coming together, interspersed to enjoy the human sporting spectacle? Or are they physically separated by architecture? Some people are elevated, many are not. The juxtaposition between figures of different classes is reiterated in view of Cannaregio. Similar to a stock pose in the regatta, a bending fisherman is illuminated by light that reflects off his back, accentuating the yellow of his shirt. Notice how small the strokes are for the man's fishing pole, elbow, oar, and net. We can, however, discern what everything is. The man's actions as a laborer are pronounced. One can almost smell the salty air of the lagoon and the aroma of fresh fish that he pulls from the water. Similarly, Guardi uses beautiful blues, reds, and yellow greens to differentiate between different types of servants or noblemen who are accompanying the French ambassador to the prominent palace Palazzo Sorianabellotto. Focusing intently, one can live vicariously through the gondoliers, feeling the effort they put into transporting their passenger, a wigged man who cowers inside the gondola's canopy, a place of privacy where he might be engaged with a lover. Guardi signs his initials, FGP, Pincite, painted by, on the crate of a laborer who is unloading it from his boat. It is a 19th century myth that Guardi was a starving artist who survived by selling his paintings. He was, in fact, of higher status. However, it is possible that the artist felt some connection to this laboring class, or at least to the trade network so characteristic of Venetian livelihoods. We can see a shopping list for oil, eels, and bread written on some of his sketches, suggesting he had direct contact with laborers. Note that the laborers we have focused on are all members of the service industry in 18th century Venice. Guardi includes mysterious figures too, some transparent like ghostly apparitions. Look all the way to the right. Who is the woman that the wigged gentleman in the red cloak speaks to? The mystery of identity fascinates. Some might say that Guardi's individuals are fantastical. It is true that he created fanciful works called capricci that incorporated fantasy with reality and were, interestingly, well-liked among Venetian patrons. Notice how lanky the gondolier with the red hat and the blue sash is. He resembles a grotesque Dr. Seuss creation or a whimsical character who crawled out of Alice's Wonderland. There's something not entirely worldly about these characters, like figurines in a diorama. The decrepit yet busy residences to the right are splotchy and stained in appearance, borrowing the beautiful pinks from the sky and the bridge. Laundry drips like water from the windows. Paint layering gives the buildings a sense of texture, but also of wear and tear. Juxtaposingly, the palace appears abandoned and lonely, a skeleton of its once grand presence, with muted colors emanating a sickly glow. In a way, Guardi has romanticized all aspects of 18th century Venetian life and society for his patrons in these two scenes. In paint, he has created his own myth of Venice, that labor is quaint and that Venetian life revolves around communal interactions and celebrations. For better or for worse, many tend to embrace this romantic myth of Venice, developing a love for Venetian hallmarks, as I have. Walking through Central Park, I serendipitously came upon the rowboat pond and was pleasantly transported into a Guardi Veduta. A black gondola 36 feet long made its way eerily through the water, as if emerging from a canal in 18th century Venice. To see these paintings in person, please visit the third floor of our temporary home at Frick Madison, and thank you for looking closely at Guardi's Vedute.